focusing either on the bomb site take or maybe, that's it. You don't need flank watch at that point. That's the strength of Nomad, and of course, them starting an attack and banning that out means that they're confident that they don't need that kind of free flank watch. They have the strats to be able to expend people to watch the flank. They don't need 5 different people just pushing them through the bomb site, either the watch angles or whatever. They've got flexibility there, and that's very important for this team.
Right, and as we'll move to the round, a shout out to the Habana Elite from Detox, one of the best elites in the game. I'm just saying. It is interesting though that we see Valk being banned. She's not overly popular on a site like Oregon. She is pretty good for the third sites such as Watchtower and Dining, but not so much the most popular ones, Laundry and Kids. It is a little bit interesting, but they were on defense, so it leaves Echo for them to play if they want to play it, as well as Mira, and sure enough, we do see Mira here. So I can understand it from that perspective. We don't want to ban Echo. We don't want to ban Mira. Let's just, let's get rid of another information operator that we don't really intend on playing. And it looks like we'll see a pretty decently heavy meeting hall defense, which shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. For this site specifically, a map being so small, you somewhat have to delay for as long as possible because it does not take a lot of time to drone out the entire map. I do like seeing Art on the Pulse. I am excited to see what he does there because he's played Pulse all throughout qualifiers and has done so well to the point where he's more than reliable. So I'm excited to see where this goes. And here we go, the first round for OC, and the first round again for Altis Police Department as they don the new name.
Yeah, so like you mentioned before the game even started, when we were looking at the rosters and Bolo, of course, being Nash main for about 3 years straight, losing that ACOG, do we see a type of change from him? And we do indeed. He's playing the IQ right now, another 3-speed, great gun. And usually other Ash mains, you see them switch off to an operator with a bit more utility, like Zofia. However, Yaga has been playing Zofia for about as long as his team has existed, even with the Ash on the lineup. So obviously they can't have 2 Zofias, so he has to move off to another operator. And practically another Ash with a gun that's almost equally as good. And also 3-speed, and an ACOG, the boot, of course, with more utility at her disposal. He's going to make work with that. That's going to be really big, but unfortunately for them, they're not going to get the opening frag. Sweater is actually going to fall, ironically, the first on their team. He's going to be the person who should be at least looking for the flanks and not having any luck in doing so. That Dash is also going to take a bullet in his chest, apparently, but 25 health taken off of him, but still gonna have some time to work with 1 minute 40, going for a front lobby take and kind of stalling out on this right now with the Mira Fultz. They're trying to figure out a way to deal with them, and it's kind of difficult at the moment.
Right, well, in a 5v4, the only thing you have to do as a defense now is just wait, because it basically forces the offense to come up with a plan, and when you use their smoke so early, well, then you have to start improvising very quickly. Polo takes out Fultz in the background, but Merc on the flank will take out Yoga's dot dash. Finishes off Gurmy inside of Meeting Hall in the background. So we're in a 3v3 with a minute left. Things are looking pretty good for the defense so far because the more they delay time, the more smoke will become effective. Just a matter of how aggressive Oasis is. Merc looks the wrong way, but he was busy taking out Detox in the meantime. So this 2v2, an extreme advantage for OC at the moment. They still have their smokes. They do not have a C4, however, from Art, but it's still looking pretty good for the remaining 2 members of OC.
Oh, and you mentioned the smokes, but I don't even know if it's going to matter. Even the time running out, they have less than 100 HP on both these operators, and this Pulse of Art knows exactly where both of them are. He saw them. All he needed was a second, and he gets a second of his own, a headshot and a dot dash, and all of a sudden Bolo with about 25 HP, give or take 1 or 2. He's gonna have 2 kills to find. He doesn't even get the first one. Art has it on his... Hey, Art's got his number. I mean, there was not much to be done there at that point. Both of them committing to that backside push. And the smoke's coming out, like you said. There was not much of a chance. And unfortunately, Gurmy actually drops from the game after they get the first round. Didn't really do much in that round other than maybe delay a bit of time. But still, it's going to be a slight bit unfortunate. We might have to have a rehost, and thank goodness he gets back in time.
So I want to point out and I mentioned this earlier, OC, a hot team right now. They made CL quals, they made into CCS, and they're absolutely feeling momentum. They love the team they have assembled. Besides Dez, they did not love Dez apparently. And they, one win is so huge for them because they're hyping each other up. They're freaking out in comms. When Merc picks up that opening kill onto Sweater, they're just supporting each other and doing what they can to just keep it going. That you need to keep it going, especially when you're new. You might have nerves, but around one win like that, that certainly helps calm a few things. But we are going to Watchtower second. And so they'll deploy a similar meeting hall strategy, except this time with Castle. This does intrigue me because if a team reads this in prep phase, especially a team as experienced as APD, they should just not essentially be pushing meeting hall whatsoever. This should be a tier 3 take coming out from Altis, but we'll have to see how it plays out here. But this might be a mistake from OC with the momentum they had from the first round. But again, you never know. You never quite know with these hot young teams. I say that as a very old 25-year-old, but I'm curious to see where this goes, and it's nice to see the confidence, at least, from the newer team.
Definitely. I mean, momentum, as you said, you're okay. Ooh. Momentum gonna be shut down. Gurmy instantly gets headshot and only takes about 25 HP off a Bolo. That's impressive from him. He doesn't even need a 3-speed. Working with the buck just in hand.
Well, that was a flick from Bolo and poor peek from Gurmy. Gurmy should have absolutely had the kill. Bolo was peeking for more than enough time to land a headshot, but gotta give him credit where credit is due. Wonderful shot from Bolo, and now they neglect to go with the tier 3 take and are still going, forcing themselves into meeting hall. I am curious to see how the rest of this goes as we see the push into attic begin, with Detox opening up an angle for himself that will force Bull off his mark at the moment. Double drone work from Dot Dash just to see what he's dealing with underneath. And yeah, they're going for a full south side take. So we'll have to see how it plays out from here. And a very aggressive peek from Yoga. Nothing exploded right off the bat, so he knows that there's no one in proximity, and now they have meeting hall control, and all members push back at the moment. Merc will bite back, however, though, with the kill onto Dot Dash. So Thatcher drone himself in and, well, punished. Bulls will pick up one for himself underneath again onto Yoga. Well played from OC so far to at least counteract the push from APD.
I think that was an accident by Yoga. I don't know if he meant to drop the hatch necessarily. Nonetheless, a kill is going to go in favor of OC, and another one from Merc as he's going to get the kill on the Detox. Oasis, one on the Sweater, and all of a sudden Bolo in a 1v4. He needs to ace if he wants to take this round, and of course 2 players are indeed downstairs in the basement, which is interesting because he's only got 2 to deal with right now on the top floor. Doesn't have the defuser control, and he gets a frag on a Merc. That's a good start. He's got one more downstairs to worry about. And the gun skill that Bolo has, like you said, that definitely... He has every chance to win this right now. There's no counting him out. And while his enemies are definitely very skilled in their own right, he seems to know where one is right now on the stairs, decides to go for the vault and maybe a better angle on it. C4, and he misses the flick shot. That's unfortunate. Hits it on the Merc, but not going to hit a second one onto a projectile like that. It went over his head. I don't blame him for that one. But valiant effort for him. Still 2 rounds for OC.
I'm scratching my head at the moment from that choice from Altis, because I mentioned tier 3 would have to be their play if they want a successful round. Instead, we see just the south side take. And if Bolo doesn't get a flick, you're down Bolo. And Gurmy just peels off and probably rotates back into meeting hall. But the only reason that round looks somewhat competent is because Bolo got a flick. And you relied on that. You played right into the teeth of that defense instead of switching up your strategy to be more appropriate for what the defense was throwing at you. That was either a case of a poor call or just poor drone work in the prep phase and throughout the phase to know where the push needed to come from. They were completely set up for that south side push, and you saw what happens when they do push into that. Yeah, I'm confused right now, to say the least. That seemed very amateur, at least for what just happened. But nonetheless, though, it was a very good round from OC. They recovered from the 4v5, and actually, I think teammates after had a perfect round after the 4v5. And yeah, they played very well. They have been, again, it's these rounds you're giving them, they can take away with it more than any team we had seen besides, I mean, you could argue Vicious Gaming as well, but they use momentum to such a beautiful extent. And I mean, when they have it, they use it. And unfortunate for APD, they gave it to them. And keep in mind, this is APD's map. This is where APD wanted to play, and not looking so good at the moment. And that was typically a third bomb site for some teams. Nonetheless, though, the third round continues, and I'm sure APD are, well, gonna clean up their comms just a little bit more, and I'm sure they'll be able to bounce back, at least with a round that shows that they can hang with OC.
Definitely. I mean, considering the fact that this is APD's pick, they've played this a lot. Like, we've seen them play it a lot. This is not a surprise that they are confident on this map. However, with that said, OC are not just some amateur league team. They're in CL right now. They have VOD review sessions. These guys do the work they need in order to beat the teams that they need to get past to win. That's simply what they do. And looking at what they're doing right now in terms of their defensive holds, it wouldn't be surprising if they've seen the VODs of all these guys of formerly Polar Ace, formerly Global Breakout, and APD. They know what they're doing, and right now, they are down a man, and okay, all of a sudden, down 3 men. Detox's player get 2 kills. Champagne Gurmy finally gonna get one of his own, a response, and Bolo has one of his own onto Gurmy as well, and all of a sudden, Art, as I'm speaking highly of them, unfortunately, in a 1 versus 4 situation, gets the first, but is down as a dock, and he's probably gonna get found through the floor. Yeah, Yaga ran out of ammo in his primary, but not gonna matter. Pistol out, Art takes the cake.
That is definitely interesting shots. Yeah, so that was more or less what I expected from APD. They absolutely shut off OC the moment they showed any sort of weakness, and that's what we're more accustomed to seeing from this team. A team that hung with the current reciprocity roster, a team that demolished Regime, and you could, I mean, they didn't win 2-0 versus Rise in the normal fashion. It was a forfeit, so I wouldn't say demolish them, but that is what we're accustomed to seeing. They spend their time droning, gathering information, and every single one of their players can execute on a dime. And yep, that was a beautiful display of that fact. Mira switched over to Kaid. We will see it now. And I am so excited. First time we are seeing Kaid in North America play for CCS. And it will be Fultz to show us how it's done. Well, how it's done or how it's not done. I mean, you can only go 1 of 2 ways. Exactly. So their Mira strat for Meeting Hall and Inside of Closet are now, well, irrelevant because they switched 6th pick over. I'm excited because Kaid, you can trick hatches, you can do a whole ton of fun things. However, I will point out they have not destroyed the, so if Thermite was picked, they have not destroyed this wall in Classroom or reinforced it. They're just leaving it soft, which is a little curious to me because you can actually trick both of those walls at once. You can throw 1 claw and it will get the Classroom wall and the hatch wall at the same time, and it makes you feel even more special. Regardless, though, we should be seeing a trick come out. However, that is counteracted by Dot just throwing everything imaginable for his input. Yeah, well, just as long as he's throwing EMPs, it takes a bit for the trick to happen. We do see Fultz prepped for that, but again, if you just spam EMPs, you can forego the trick. I am curious to see how this back and forth goes, because if Dot Dash hasn't practiced enough versus a Kaid, it's something that can easily escape your mind. You do see a couple of their members set up inside a Classroom, nothing prepped at the moment. Oh, I believe he does get the first set of Excaros as the EMP goes out. Hopefully we can see again for Detox's perspective. I'm pretty sure he got that first set of Excaros on that hatch. just in time as the EMP came down. Yeah, and it does appear so. So Detox had used one here into Meeting Hall, but also one on that hatch, and that one did not work out. Actually did manage to trick it. Does have one more. Dot dash with a great shot onto Merc all the way back inside a watchtower. So a 5v4 now for OC to see Oasis with a very aggressive push, and he will find one in Sweater. So smokes off the board again for this basement push. Things are looking good for OC as the time ticks down.
Yeah, they're gambling on the fact that they can at least hold them off for a decent amount of time before they get into sight. That's why they don't have a mirror window, or else there's not really a good way to deny a plant. And thank goodness for Fultz, as he continues that effort, takes another man off of APD. Now, Dot Dash and Sweater, the support player, as well as one of their really nice fraggers on their team, are both off the board. A minute left, and I'm guessing this mirror is actually going to work, or this not mirror is actually going to work out. Yaga's going to drop the back hatch, and he's going to get gunned, but nope, not quite. Bolo has Art's number for now, but Yaga is definitely at 1 bullet's worth of HP. Bolo gets taken down, and Yaga needs to do something against Oasis here for the kill. And all of a sudden, Detox is the final one, and Oasis just gets them both. The no mirror pick worked out, apparently, and it got close. It was a 1 versus 2, but this clutch play by the smoke here, it ended up not mattering at the end. That's very impressive by the side of OC. These guys are flexible, and they're showing that right now. 3 up in terms of rounds on the defensive side, and they've got a lot more room to go. However, going back to rear stage, it shows that this is apparently their secondary bomb site, interestingly. These guys know Oregon in and out compared to, I mean, I don't want to say that APD don't, but looking at the scoreline and looking at the things they're pulling out and looking at the things that they're making work, not just kind of throwing out there on the field and showing their hand, these things are functioning. And that's really impressive from the side of, from the side of OC.
Yeah, and I will point out that they and APD have lost 2 5v4s now. They have gotten the advantage early in 2 separate rounds and have lost both of those rounds. And that's, you can't have it. It adds up after a while. And you could easily be up 3-1 with the advantages you're giving themselves, especially taking off Merc, who is their top frag. You take out their top frag early on and you still cannot close out the rounds. It's a disappointing, I don't know, it's disappointing from APT. And, well, you just gotta hope they manage to stay together longer than they stay with any org for the rest of this game on Oregon. I don't know, it's just, I'm somewhat speechless because they really should be behaving as a team a lot better than they currently are. And this is also OC with one of their players being recently replaced. We have Gurmy instead of Dez. Dez, who had the chemistry, well, apparently not enough, but had some playable chemistry with the team, and it's still apparently good enough to hold off APD. But regardless, we will see Bolo on Ying instead of Twitch. I mentioned before, Ying is available, and sure enough, we will see her being played. I'm excited to see what happens here because, as we all know, Bolo is just one of the most insane aimers there is in the game. Yoga, though, will flex a little bit and will take out Art early on. So a C4 off the board. All right, that is about it as well. I mean, as well as a shotgun. Pretty big pick, but they've lost 5v4s before, so we'll have to see how it plays out here. And this time, they have switched their attack style. They are attacking Watchtower. They aren't pushing from the south side, which is more or less what I wanted to see. Bolo will take out Fultz, and I believe that's only headshot. Oh, actually, no, he did get a body shot. I was about to say, only headshots for Bolo so far this game. He did get a body shot that last game. But yeah, this is more or less how you need to attack this site. This is why so many teams attack this site this way. You swarm tower, you try to take tier 3 the best you can. You just pinch them in and you cover flanks just with 1 or 2 people in lobby. And we see it paying dividends so far. We'll have to see how well they can finish. 1 minute and 30 seconds left, but a 5v3 advantage for the members. Make that a 5v2 advantage for APT as they look to at least bring this within reason on this half.
Looking very good for them right
lifelines
now.
Will go out, and OC members back up as the Ying rings through.
There's almost no chance at the moment for OC to come back from this round. They're still going to be up 1. However, Oasis is looking to make it happen. Merc with a down as well, and Dot Dash has a response instantly. So Crossfire's held, Sweater with the final frag, and getting revenge for basically just dropping first all the other rounds. And picking up one for his team, and not him alone, but the rest of them. And like you said, pushing from T3 instead of pushing from the rest of the map, and kind of into that defense that they were holding that past round in Watchtower, that paid dividends. It did what it was supposed to do. And this take worked. 2-3 right now. They're still down a round. However, it's shown that they can adapt. They have that capability. And they did so. Ying, or excuse me, the other way around, Bolo on the Ying instead of on the IQ. Maybe they didn't need that utility so much. They're having a different type in the form of a very good gun. 81 bullets. This guy doesn't have to stop shooting. And shooting is kind of what he's really good at. That's basically what you want him on your team for, is having that gun and being able to hit his shots, and giving him 81 bullets to do that, as well as a utility that allows him to basically enter a room for free and have everyone kind of look away from him. That's ultra useful for him. And I don't know if it was his chance, but him bringing Ying on a Watchtower defense, that's huge. There is not much space in the Watchtower. Of course, I don't think he technically put T3 to start off with, but getting up there, Ying has that kind of capability to clear out anyone playing up top in that really small confined space. There's not much you can do other than either bail or jump down or die. There's not much of an option past your ADSs to save you, but of course, there's a lot of utility on this attacking lineup right now. And Yaga bringing the Zofia last round, bringing a Buck this round, more projectiles. These guys have everything to throw in order to counter Merc's Jaeger that he's brought basically every round now. And Bolo, yet again, on the Ying, with the bullets, with his utility on a top floor defense. This might prove even more useful for him, because maybe they're reading, maybe they haven't exactly read that Watchtower, for whatever reason, is OC's second bomb site. Maybe they thought that it would be a top floor defense, and in this case, they have that defense mapped out, ideally to a T, and they're looking to tie this round up, or tie this game up, going into the second half of this game.
Right, and again, I mentioned before, that's all I wanted to see. Just attack the site, let both the success that we have seen from APG. I keep forgetting. I keep wanting to say Outbreak. The success we've seen is them just at last second pushing site, Bolo picking up frags, and finally we just saw put Bolo on site. They used the Candelas defensively for the plant, but that is what I wanted to see, and I'm glad we saw it, because it ultimately resulted in a win, just because that's what you need to do for a Watchtower. Regardless, though, the final round of this half, we do see a grenade come out from Yoga, and ooh, a C4 will connect with Yoga. A Sweater in the background will take out Pulse. Sweater on the highway, and this is demolition at the moment of OC, but Oasis doing what Oasis does with a rather aggressive push, and he picks up one on Bolo, but Sweater is there to frag. He's at least pick up his teammate, but resets only go to 20 health now. A pretty big change recently introduced. However, they do have the man advantage, 3-2 in their favor.
That actually makes that C4 from Gurmi huge. Bringing Yaga down to 1 shot of health. There's no room right now for resets. It wasn't that they nerfed resets. It's that they're just gone. There's no such thing anymore. Considering the fact that you were going to be left at 1 bullet to death from any gun on the defending side, that makes that's enormous. I mean, the grenade from Yaga doing nothing to Gurmi, and Gurmi responding in kind with a C4 of his own, ironically, getting the down onto Yaga. Of course, he's still alive. However, anyone on the defense, Merc, Art, they both have amazing gun skill. They both have amazing operators in order to take advantage of that gun skill. 1 bullet is going to take him out, and right now, apparently, Merc's going to unfortunately suffer the same fate himself. 1 bullet onto him. However, he lands a lot of bullets on a Sweater, and it's a 2v2 now. Equalized man count. Yaga finally has a response as well, but vaulting through the bed. A headshot into him, and all of a sudden, 30 seconds, Detox with the defuser against Art right now. He's sticking the plant. Pose apparently do fake. This gunfight's going to ensue. Who's going to win it out? This is going to be Art with a hipfire to begin with, but Detox falling to him. OC's going to keep that lead and extend it even further, 4-2, going into the second half of APD's map.
And OC are just they played so well that half, and you saw the gun skill. You saw how well a lot of their members can dance around, and even if they end up losing a gunfight, as Merc initially did versus Sweater, they reposition to find themselves in a good position to succeed. It's impressive, and they're showing their worth, especially when it's not even their map selected. And they did slightly adjust from last time, from how APD chose to attack dorms. They did a slight adjustment and didn't quite put as many resources down below as they did the last time. And because all APD did there last time was read it, execute, dead, pretty much over immediately. This time, you saw OC be a little more conserved, especially with where they placed their operators in prep phase to begin with, and it paid dividends for them. They eventually managed to pull out a round, and they pulled out a lot of rounds down a count. A lot of rounds. They were, I think it was 3, it might have been 4 rounds. They were down a member and won. And it was impressive. They are beating APD, a veteran of Siege Complay. Not to say that the members of OC aren't, but they beat a lot of, they have that chemistry is what I was referring to. It's just, I don't know, it's been nothing short of impressive. That's all I'll say. They've pulled out these rounds when you could argue that they had no business pulling out. And it was due to the positioning of OC, but also the individual gun skill really shined in that first half. But, you know, attacking is a different story. The best teams have good attacks. We've all pretty much known that. Merc is on Twitch in preparation for Amira. They probably predicted basement with Amira, which is why you would bring this Twitch here. And a very... Merc looks the wrong way, though, and Detox takes advantage. Unfortunate coverage from Fultz as he is unable to land the kill onto Detox. Detox is a half health, but he'll be rezzed by Bolu. Oh, no, he won't. All right, well, one stim is in the ground somewhere, so he'll have one more drug to dish out to his teammate. We are in a 4v5 again. That seems to be the theme for OC.
I think this time they're on attack. Can they pull out another round on the other side this time when the time pressure's on them? And this might happen. They've got 2 minutes. They've got plenty of time. 120 seconds is pretty trivial for most attacking teams in this game, at least at this level of play, in order to take any kind of round, especially on a top floor attack. I'm surprised they're being so slow right now. They're droning out. At least they're getting picks, right? At least one on the Yaga. Finally, Fultz has that wallbang. And he knows that there's one above him as the bullets did rain down onto that little closet, trying to get him in return. But right now, 4 versus 4 and half the round left that they have to play with. There's plenty of room for them and a lot of options that they have right now.
Right, and you have the 4v4, and you just gotta come up with a game plan that suits you best. At this point, Watchtower is clear, so that'll give them the A-OK to push into kids. The ADS is being cleared with 2 people on rappel. This could be devastating for the members of APD, but if they hold firm, I never quite know how these rounds will turn out, especially with a minute left and a 4v4. So many bodies left, so many opportunities. Sweater will shut out Fultz and the bomb carrier, and he'll continue to hold that position. Position so hard to displace someone, or he'll hold the right side of the windows and just hold angle as tightly as he can. Call from Champagne will ring out the position. What a flick from Sweaters. He picks up 2 to end it, with Bolo picking up the final kill, but that was really all Sweater clutching out the round for his team. What a flick onto the repelled Habana.
Both those players in the windows playing the repels extremely well. One of them upside down, still gets taken down. And one of them changing positions, right side up, just holding the angle and ready for that run out by Sweater. He hit the shots, but apparently not enough, as Sweater just turns a 180 and just destroys him on the window. That's kind of unfortunate. That guy got deleted and he might have to retire after this game, but for now, gonna keep moving on. They're still up around. that was pretty monstrous from him, and admittedly, they might have just won the round off of his own individual play. There was 50 seconds left, if I'm correct, if I looked at the clock right, when all those kills happened. So that was technically plenty of time. If Sweater had gone down, kids would have been free. The Hibana jumps in, all of a sudden they have control of a bomb site, and then everyone else can flow in either through the windows, maybe hold the angle from the big window room into the entire main hallway. But that didn't happen. Sweater hit every single shot that he needed to, and just took the round in his own hands and was like, this is mine. We're winning the first defense, and we're going to come back right now. This time, finally a basement defense, the standard, typical, and primary bomb site for most teams. Another kind of standard meeting hall hold from the team of APD, kind of replicating what their opponents of OC did their entire defense themselves. I'm going to see if it works out for this team this time, as Bolo is seemingly wanting to lock out the entirety of Split, spending a lot of those resources on just this one kind of choke point that they have to deal with. Whether or not this is going to be a right idea is going to come down to time, but opening both the meeting hatches as well, they're relying on this meeting hold delaying about at least 60 seconds, if not more. And these guys might be reading into this.
At the moment, you could see Organized Chaos were absolutely feeling the momentum of that first round. You saw Merc just run up to showers, melee the barricade, break in, like without even, he was following a drone, quote unquote, but you had no time to communicate that Yoga was pushing from white stairs down into him. There was just no time because he was just too hit. Their hearts are beating a little too quickly. They need to relax, take it back just a little bit. And I'm sure they'll find more success. They were certainly a little too eager to get that first attacking round underway, especially with the momentum of the second half. But here we see Yoga going back and forth with the members in Big Tower. And that is pretty much all of OC inside the Big Tower. I believe one watching flank from lobby. However, we do see one repositioning inside the attic. This might prove fruitful for the members, but nothing actually looks his way, and he'll continue to stay up. But Bolo will be put down. Bolts from up above in that attic will be the one. I'm sorry, bolts from the watchtower. The long angle will be the one to pick it up. Sweater, though, will take out Merc. That's a twitch off the board, so those mirrors will continue to stay out. That might play a huge part as we go further into this round.
Yeah, they have nades to deal with that, and that's basically the only thing left to deal with, at least the back mirror, which they're looking to push at right now. Art is going to have that ADS burnt for him, and Volts does that as I say it. 1 minute 10 to go for a backside execute. All 4 of their players are stuck here. They can't even get to the front. Maybe if they wanted to, they could punch the castle barricade out, but that would take a bit of time. And it doesn't look like they're going to actually go for that. The back mirror does seem to have actually been disabled, not by a grenade, not by a twitch, but by the Hibana, smartly using that little X-Tyrus to her advantage. And Art with a nade of his own on a dot dash, not disabling a mirror window, but disabling an entire player in the form of smoke. Candela's flying out, and Detox, however, ends Champagne Dermy. Response from Art yet again. Yago with one of his team, but Fultz has it on his number as well. And Sweater in a 1 versus 2. He's shown his prowess before in a 1v3, but this time, left with only 1 to find. In 20 seconds, he can play the clock down right now. Art has to either plant or find the kill. I'm not sure if Sweater realizes that he's coming around the corner. No! Art sneaking around like a ninja, practically. Has a headshot on a Sweater, and they take another round and widen the gap yet again on their attack inside this time.
That was just pure gunfights. That was, we're gonna drop, we're pushing from here, and you're going to fight us. That's what OC put on the board, and it worked out for them. And that was a really good example of, sorry about the keychains. It was a really good example of how much Siege is about timing. So there we saw the smoke pull, I'm sorry, we saw Sweater on the mute pull back because the last time he had seen Art was that he was behind those shelves ready to plant the bomb. But as soon as Sweater turned around, that's when Art had rotated the hallway, and the crouch walk just eventually was the winner. You saw Sweater just holding that angle the entire time. He had totally had in mind that Art was still behind that right next to box drop, and unfortunate for him that he missed the rotation in time. But That's what I love about Siege. Half a second of time is the world of difference. That one simple rotation from B-bomb into hallway is what ended up being the round of win for OC. The rest was just pure chaos. It was a well-orchestrated kill onto Bolo with Fultz playing that long angle from Big. But other than that, it was basically just close your eyes, pull the trigger, and hope you're good at recoil control because we're about to duke this out as hard as possible. And I will point out that APD are establishing a pretty similar castle strategy to what we saw from OC, as you pointed out before. But this OC did this castle strategy when Watchtower was the defense, not basement. So with that castling off main stairs, you basically cut off rotation for yourself. You can say that, oh, they can't get control of Meeting Hall. Well, also, you can't rotate through Meeting Hall at the moment unless you take it down and take your time doing that. So OC took complete advantage of that, just push from the south side because they don't really have to worry about the flank all too much. You basically just put yourselves there and say, this is where we'll be. And yeah, the OC did well to take advantage of it. I'm not in love with the castle strat.
Now, this is another interesting, I guess you could say, adaptation. They're reinforcing half of the stage wall, and that's something I don't really understand.
Killed Bolo. Well, that was the angle that killed Bolo, because they castle off the left or right side, whichever side you're looking at it from, of Meeting Hall's door besides the main door, and they are playing that tight little angle that Yoga keeps bouncing back and forth between. Bolt, again, will be the opening kill on the Meeting Hall, and it'll be Bolo, the last one here, but Bolo will be put down, at least for the moment. He might be able to escape, but no, Art will shut him down. Yeah, so this could not be a better read from OC and a better execution of the strategy. But speaking of, Detox doing an individual play for his team with the yeet throw through the hatch of box. Will take out Fultz. Irrelevant for this push. A minute 30 left. Still plenty of time for the attackers, especially when you have the man advantage. But we do hear those ADSs still, so these grenades would not do so much. We did see Art pick up a grenade kill last time. That's simply because the ADSs were removed from the EMP. This time they'll have to burn ADSs if that's what they want to do. Now, again, slow goings. We do see the headline up, but that is through a mirror window, so it won't result in much. One grenade will go through, but that is not where the ADS is. We do hear an ADS pull it off. Merc, though, takes out Sweater, and things are crumbling right now for Altis Police Department. We do hear that defuse going down, but it will not matter as OC just walk through with the man advantage and finish off the rest of APD hiding inside of the site. Really good wallbang there. Good read from Art. OC are showing that they can do this multiple ways. Okay, you got ADSs up. We won't use our grenades. We'll just outposition you. Okay, you're going to do the same defense. We're going to punish that. Oh, you try to adapt a little bit with the reinforcement off of Watchtower. Okay, we're going to play attic heavy and just push in through the door. It's nothing but impressive for OC right now. And if you're APD, there's really not much you can fix in-game because I think the strategies are what is hurting them. I think their initial strat, which is, at this point, you need to pull out a pocket strat if that's what you want to defend, but they'll smartly go over to kids because they need to start stringing some wins together. But if you are APD, this is just a VOD you go over, and you probably don't see a replication of that exact defensive strat for basement because it is not pretty. It's not good.
Definitely. I mean, what they're doing right now, they're doing the exact same thing every round, and it's for the. I mean, maybe for top floor, maybe it'll work out for them this time. Who knows? But OC are reading all of their attacks so well, and even their defense is not even just their attacks, but they're adapting in turn. We do one thing, it works, but we can do another thing, and it's still gonna work because we know that you're gonna hopefully adapt to what we're doing. We're just gonna change it up behind you. We're gonna be one step ahead every single round, and so far, that's what they've been doing. They've been a single step ahead. They've got double the score of their opponents right now, and this one round is all they need to take this map 1. Mind you, this is APD's pick, so they're gonna be winning their opponent's map. That's pretty big, and Fultz.
Yeah, that's not a good start.
He just got wallbanged through the window. You didn't even see him. That's
well, I mean, that's a, but that's not oh, bad luck. You cannot be there if you're a sweater because that is the most common pre-fire there is on games like that. You just can't be there because that's what they'll be pre-firing. Especially when you're down rounds like you are, you can't be having mental lapses like that because their team is relying on you to obviously stay up past the 10 seconds. Detox is... So right now, this is actually very similar defense to what we saw OC playing their first round on Kids, the one where we saw APT just completely stomp through their defense. And it looks to be a little bit of a replication of that, as 2 members of APD are already off the board and they're facing match point. So 3 of their members, and Yoga, Dash, and Bolo need to pull this out. I'd say it's impossible, but it's certainly going to be an uphill battle because now you have the advantage so early. Just regroup, drone, figure out your game plan, and just execute it because all you need to do right now is play for refrags.
Ooh.
Or just play for frags as Merc picks up the one onto Yoga. Merc doing well on the Ash. Again, we never saw Bolo on Ash. Granted, that might have been a game plan thing because Echo is still available, but it was an interesting thing to point out. But again, all you need to do when you have an advantage as big as this, just pull back, drone, and figure out your game plan. Not that from Merc. Merc getting a little too excited, and that's been the cause of, well, granted some of his kills, but a lot of his deaths have been just from careless alt-walk pushes wherever, and it certainly hurt him. And, oh, with a fantastic flick on Oasis, now will be the diffuser drop. So, that Capitao trapped inside of Kids is, well, he's not going to be of any threat as far as the plant is concerned, but Dash is completely pinched. Gurmy will finish him off, and it'll be all up to the Flickman himself, but no, the numbers will completely overwhelm him. Gurmy will finish up Bolo. So that is a map win, 7-3 on APD Veterans. This is your first map you have played in CCS. This is your first map, even for CL. This is your first map as a complete comp team in the tournaments you won. They take the round on APD's map.
That's kind of huge, considering the fact that APD has played this map and they know their way around Oregon. Of course, it's one of those maps where it's pretty textbook. I've said this time and time again on many different streams, on many different casts. But Oregon, you can basically pug it really well. Yeah, it's stale. I wanted to put a bit more. I didn't want to be that blunt. it's kind of stale. It's been through its time, and most people think it's about that time where it kind of gets rotated out. But while we have it here, everyone knows how to play it. There's no team in existence that can't play Oregon. That's just a mistake that you never want to make against any competent team because of how basic it is. It's kind of 1, 2, 3. You go through all those steps and then you win a round. And OC are showing that they can apparently go through those steps much better than the side of APD can. And that's really unfortunate considering that APD are experienced on this map. They're going to look for a win on Clubhouse, OC's pick, if they want to take it even 1 point in this series. And considering the scoreline, 7-3 on map number 1, and how much they have played Oregon, and the level of strat they pull out every single round, that's going to be quite the difficult task on Clubhouse, especially not like on a different map, any map other than Oregon, maybe Border, but that's of course not in their map pool right now.
Right. Well, we'll talk about Clubhouse in just a little bit. I do want to commend OC. They read the defense, they read the offense. They reacted so well to what was being thrown at them. And I have to admit, a little disappointing from APD because they stuck with things that, as you mentioned, everyone pretty much knows Oregon at this point. It's a stale map. And when you pull out strategies such as castling off meeting hall, you're basically saying, everyone's seen every strat ever. Let's try something that is proven not to work, and let's see if it works. And it never did. So on a basement defense, a site that is so coveted to be defender favored, they throw away 2 rounds in a row of it. It was questionable, to say the least. But regardless, that will move forward. So the best APD can do is pull out 1 point. And OC, well, they've at least earned themselves 8 points. They look to take 3 in their very first game of CCS. We'll be right back after a 3-minute break. Clubhouse will be the map with OC attacking It is their map, and APD chose defense. So we'll see you in a bit. Thank you very much. Bye.
Every little thing I do brings me right back to you. I try to walk away, but you're loving like cocaine. Now when she in my bed, I think of you instead. When you're under me, girl, I'm under pressure. You always find a way to cave me in. I try to drown you out, now it's sink or swim. You don't know what you do to me. I'm sleeping with the enemy. You always find a way to cave me. Every single move you make got me tripping, hallucinating. High off of your body, girl, your kiss is my ecstasy. She gives me what I want, but you give me what I need. When you lose your clothes, I lose my senses. You always find a way to cave me in. I try to drown you out, now it's sink or swim. You don't know what you do to me. I'm sleeping with the enemy. You always find a way to cave me. You're breaking me down. I relapse when you come around. Went down a rabbit hole, ain't no way out. You always find a way to cave me in. I try to drag me out, now I sink or swim. You don't know what you do to me. I'm sleeping with the enemy. You always find a way to
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be going to map 2 very, very soon of Clubhouse versus Altis Police Department versus Organized Chaos. We're going to get right into it. These two teams are ready, so we're going to not have any delays, right? We've already late about half an hour, so we apologize for that. But nonetheless, we're going to get this game rolling, and it looks like at least OC, they want to make this quick. They took the first map 7-3. That was not really that close of a scoreline, considering the fact that, or considering how Siege works in terms of scores. So, pretty dominant game from them, both in individual rounds as well as the score in general. And from what they showed in that entire map, that was pretty big. And all their different things that they had to show.
This is sorry to cut you off.
That's okay.
But getting right into it, we do see Altis ban Nomad again. This is what I was curious about, because Altis Police Department are down around. They're up against it. Well, they're in Clubhouse, and they do not ban a hard breacher, so that Maverick is still available for Organized Chaos to take, or ban here because they're probably not used to playing Clubhouse with Maverick. But no, they will be in Class again, so same attacker bans. This leaves Organized Chaos with 3 hard breachers that he could potentially take. And on Clubhouse, when you bring at least 2 hard breachers, it makes the map more 50-50. Other than that, this map is very defender-sided, which is why Altis chose defense. But Altis don't ban a hard breacher that we are typically used to seeing. Instead, they ban Nomad, which, again, there's plenty of justifications for that. But this could come back to bite Altis because it could also play in their favor. But this does leave the door open for Organized Chaos to take attacker rounds. As again, as I mentioned, that when you bring double hard breacher, it makes it more 50-50. Excuse me, makes it more 50-50. OC will not be seeing Mira at this point. That I'm not sure I understand. Obviously, keep Detox off Mira, but there aren't a ton of Mira strategies that make Clubhouse terror. Altis will take out Maestro, so we'll probably see Bolo on Echo because ACOGs on a map like this, as well as Doc, are pretty common. The Mira ban is the only thing that kind of has my head scratching a little bit. Because, again, not that common on Clubhouse. She's not that prevalent. Granted, there are Mira strats for everything. Everything. And especially if you're looking to go to gym, Mira certainly helps. But I don't know. It's a little bit interesting to me. I am a little bit curious here to see if we'll see a 6 pick off of Legion from Bolo onto Echo. But no, we'll see the 6 pick from Bandit to Kaid. So obviously nothing to really Bandit trick besides maybe Church Wall. So instead, we'll defend the hatches the best we can. Oh, no. Are you going to say? So yeah.
Almost.
So again, Kaid. I am excited because I believe this is the first time we are seeing Kaid for APD. That certainly gets, and Chad has informed me it's Yaga. I keep pronouncing it Yoga because I'm just used to saying that.
Like yogurt?
Yeah, like yogurt, Yaga. Oh, well, I cast it for Extreme Esport as well, so I'm used to saying yogurt, and now this is his is with the J and it's pronounced yo, and his is with the Y and it's I don't know, it's all over the place. But Yaga, all right, you happy, Yog? Oh goodness, but yeah, again, double hard breacher being brought. However, the Kaid would bring that a little more 50-50. I am decently surprised to not see Maverick here from OC instead, because the Kaid tricking, well, it kind of becomes irrelevant when the person standing on it doesn't care about the wall whatsoever or what you have to do about it. I'm curious to see how this round plays out because I could see it going multiple ways. But smart enough, they have Gurmy on the Thatcher, so they could still bypass the claws, and I don't see any hatches being an issue, really. I see the kitchen hatch being opened up, as well as Blue and Moto. There's a lot of opportunities here, especially with no hard breacher being banned out again from APD.
I'm guessing they're kind of just playing a war of attrition in the terms of utility, not even just manpower right now. They have a Thatcher as well as 2 different hard breachers, and like you said, they don't have a Maverick. However, one, they probably read that they're going to go top floor first, considering the fact that they have a bandit, or they had a bandit in the reveal phase. But nonetheless, still a Thatcher
right
going
there.
out.
You
Yeah,
just saw it.
Maybe
just saw it.
even
That's what you throw a Thatcher at the same. You have the EMP, so OC they know what to do against Kaid. They've been tricked at least a couple times in rank. They know how to counteract it. Yeah, so that's really no surprise that the hatch is open, and that pretty much. So now you have Kaid just for this shotgun, and he's already at 25% health. So he's already not paying dividends for your team. And with both of the claws being out of the picture now, see Church Wall being opened up, and OC are wasting absolutely no time here. Ard is picking up grenade kills left and right. Now OC will drone out, but Bolo will pick up one for himself to kill onto Merc. OC are still in pretty good position here as there is so much time left. Bolts will take out Detox in the background. This will be a 4v3, but it will certainly be a tight one as these 2 teams go back and forth.
OC is looking absolutely just incredibly efficient right now. They got that wall open. They got the hatch and the wall open in quick succession, about 30 seconds apart, and they had 2 minutes of the round left to play with. Now, the defuse is going down. Yaga's dropped as well, and Oasis has that bomb. He's gotten it planted, and then no more health for Sweater as Fultz gets the final frag. 4 players left alive. They only lost a single person to Bolo. And round 1 already of the second map, looking super dominant from the side of OC.
So what I was saying before, Maverick, you can forego the hatches, or you can still get the hatches even if they have a Kaid, or you could just bring Thatcher as the opportunity and still bring your Hibana and Thermite. And OC are, I don't know if they totally planned for a Kaid to be picked, not banned, no Heartbreacher being banned, but they are playing this as if they knew exactly what the operator bans would be and how APD would set up their defenses. And APD have not played on Clubhouse this season yet, and they are still playing this as if they have years of info on this one site for this team. And that was nothing short of impressive. A minute and a half into the round, they have Church Wall opened up, and that is certainly what you risk when you do not ban a Heartbreacher. We talked about it. When a Heartbreacher is not banned, that's why you see Hibana or Thermite banned often on this map, especially Hibana. It's because you waste your tricks twice, and all it takes is 2 EMPs to get rid of your claws, and then all of a sudden you're basically just in a dogfight after that because every angle is opened up. You have to fight out everything because they have everything opened, and it's nothing but impressive from OC so far. And it starts right off the bat in pick ban, and yeah, I'm impressed so far of what we've seen from OC. And again, this is their map. So you could say that like they pick plan picks or whatever it might be, but they're clearly comfortable on Clubhouse. They certainly showed it that first round. Again, anything can happen. Here we go. On to the second round as APD look to at least get a point out of this. They are currently 2-1 with one of their wins being a forfeit. So basically 1-1 on the season. And they could potentially fall, well, they're going to potentially be 1-1-1 on games they played, and potentially 1-2.
Yeah, Sweater is all the way over at the side entrance here. That's basically the hallway of Strip Club. He wants to get aggressive on something, and I don't think he's going to have an opportunity, as it seems like all the attackers are on the east side.
Well, it's that garage wall. It's a run out for the garage wall if anyone's repelled, holding angles. And we'll see it eventually. How we'll pay dividends, I don't know. Yeah, there you go. It won't. They'll peek it, nothing's there, and that is a Valk extremely out of position. Probably holding an angle just a bit for his teammates. You can see people running up that catwalk, but that's about all he'll get from that position at the moment. Bandit tricking doesn't mean much when you have 2 hard breaches to go up against you, but Excaros on one side and exothermic charge on the other, and we'll see that actually right here. And this basically forgoes the bandit trick. That you have to. Okay, what?
He almost gets it.
Everything that just happened confuses me. So he doesn't fire the Excaros at all, but he also fails the bandit trick and loses most of his health in the process. But a minute and 30 left. You still have 5 members up for APD, but you are starting to get pinched and heavy. Olo, though, still holding his own on that catwalk. It'll certainly be the focus for OC right now. C4 from below, still an option for Sweater. Still look to make any plan happen for his team. And with the camera inside a garage, could pay dividends for his team. We'll just have to see. This is certainly getting to the thick of it. Bolo stands up, takes out Oasis, but Merc refrag. So Garage is now available for OC. But Sweater takes out Merc in the background. Sweater's still a terror from down below as Yoga also picks up the kill on default. So what looked to be pretty good for OC is now crumbling before them as APD have positioned themselves very well to secure this round.
Still plenty of time left though, 40 seconds in order to get 4 kills. Now Gurmy has to do it all. Sweater with a 1 and an art, and it makes it almost impossible for Gurmy, but he gets 1, so he has a start. And it misses still, and I think he just injured his teammate. That was a bit unfortunate. Gurmy makes his way out of sight. He's only got 1 to find. His Sweater is actually downstairs, and he misses the shots. He almost gets .dash, and he would have been the only one on site then. A C4 would have been the only thing to stop a plant. So that was extremely close, probably a bit too close for comfort for the side of APD. You do secure a round though, that almost went in the favor of OC. 1-1 so far on the second map. OC's pick looking strong still, but the individual play of every single member of APD shining for them there, and that's practically the only reason they won that round.
As soon as I say well-positioned from APD, and they were starting to get pinched very, very hard, especially when they lost that garage control, but it was nothing but good positioning. And as soon as I said that, they almost lost a 1v4 because of bad positioning. So a little bit sloppy at the end there, but they still managed to pull things out. We will see Church again, a little bit of a switch here as we will be bringing ACOG this time and no Pulse. Bandit from Detox. So that Church wall, a focus of them this time. So, hey, we're going to stop trying to trick any hatches, please, for the love of God. And we're just going to let's keep that Church wall up. And you can imagine that is a call from, that is a call from the Kaid, as he was just absolutely pinched. I believe it was Detox. All that the last time they went into basement, that first round, he was just trapped from the beginning to the end. And he met his untimely end with, well, basically unable to do anything. All he expended was 2 EMP grenades. So I do like the switch over to Bandit, as the focus will be Church Wall this time. OC read it beautifully last time. We'll have to see how they react here. Again, a pretty common site for defense, so not a lot teams haven't seen, especially when you're putting 4 on the site. It lets OC basically just come up with the game plan for the push pretty early on, as they have to drone out one other member, find out who's not on site, and then just execute at will, which is what, again, we saw the previous time. And it will be Bolo pretty aggressively inside that closet to be that lone member that they could not find before.
And they're being so careful, but it seems to not matter. Sweater pushes up main stairs pretty aggressively, just like Bolo, and he's going to come back to get that heal after getting a pick on a Merc. So one of the best fraggers on the side of OC already off the board, as well as the IQ. And while they might not have that much utility to use with her, I mean, there's no... Oh, you know what? I stand corrected. There's a Valkyrie. So Sweater, his cams are probably going to stay alive for a lot longer if he hadn't taken Merc out. Ironically, taking the player out and the operator, that is basically the bane of his existence. He's going to keep that information on Adam and a couple other spots on the map. But still 2 minutes on the board for the attack to make up for that man advantage that they've lost. And, I mean, they've done it many times on the first map, so no one says that they can't do it again. Yaga's going to be peeking aggressively, not going to find anything on the main stairs, though. And Walker is sitting here at the bottom. Oasis ready with that thermite charge as well. We're going to see if Detox actually successfully tricks this time. He has a bandit and he gets the wrong wall. That's a bit unfortunate.
And he'll be back up a heck of a lot. And, well, he's in a very compromised position, but he will take advantage with the prone kill onto Gurmy. Gurmy not expecting that position. Potash in the background will also pick up a kill for himself onto Oasis. Oh, things not looking so good for OC, but Fultz is determined to bring things back. A 4v2. No, last time they were in a 4v2, pretty poor positions, rather, from the members of APD. But this time it would seem. So Dot Dash brings it to a 3v1. And it'll take some heroics here, especially you see Bolo and Sweater just perched up inside of Armory, as they know exactly where this Hibana is, and I'm not quite sure what Hibana can do here, because the rotations are cut off from her left. Dash just taps a little bit through the openings. This is what I was referring to. You're backed up, and this is your... Okay, that's just unfortunate.
That's a good shot.
But still, I mean, when you lose that many members, that is what is expected. You don't expect teams to ever come back from a 2v4. A 4v2, a 4v1, you just never expect it, and that's more or less how those rounds should end. That even if they do manage to pick up a frag, it's refragged immediately. And yeah, that was just that was well executed from APD, and they're going more traditional now with their roles. So they're just, we're not gonna do kite, like, basically, to heck with the last patch. We're Nomad and Kaid. We're going to ban Nomad. We're not going to play Kaid. Let's just play Siege the way we are, at least at the moment, used to playing Siege. And for the past 2 rounds, it's certainly paid dividends for them.
So they have won 2 rounds in a row. That means they're going to need to go to a tertiary bomb site. Of course, the bar not really favored by any teams in the game at all. So Gym Bedroom, their last option. They're not going to have a Mira, though, this time, as she is indeed banned out, as along with a Maestro. interestingly, Bolo's going to be on the dock. An expendable operator, but having him on a dock instead of like maybe a more utility-focused ACOG like an Echo might detriment them a bit on this bomb site, especially because they don't actually have a bandit this time. Or a Kaid, like you said there.
I'm going to be honest, it's not that interesting. Bolo was the main reason that they were even close to winning rounds in Oregon. He was fragging out. He's known to be a fragger, so just throw him on. And Merc has just been spamming IQ, so you really won't see much success from an Echo here.
That's true.
Especially if you're looking to cover up, we don't see Valkyrie, we don't see Echo, and again, it's mostly because Merc has been spamming IQ, and Merc is a very good IQ at that, so I can't imagine we'd see much utility from there. And what's the next best option for Bolu? Well, let's put him on what everyone loves to see him on, the dock.
Yeah, definitely his comfort operator as well with this gun, the MP5, 31 bullets. So I mean, he only needs 5 technically if he wants to kill every single player on the enemy team. Goes for a pre-fire, expends a couple of those. He actually opens up an angle for Merc, almost gets a shot in a detox, but thank goodness he gets away in time, able to be docked up if he needs to be.
Was that bulletproof camera destroyed by destroying the television set? I'm pretty sure it was. Which is pretty unfortunate. Speaking of unfortunate, though, you put Bolo on dock, Bolo wins some gunfights, not lose the first one. So, regardless if he was on Echo or dock, Merc on the IQ is just shutting Bolo out of this round from what he wants to play, but also of his life. Art has been playing very, very well these past 2 rounds. Will also pick up one for himself onto Sweater, and the defense right now of APD is being absolutely crumbled. Don will pick up 1, but at the cost of about 80% of his life. Another, but if you right now are OC, just relax, just relax, play for the refrag. You have a 4v1, just chill out, stop pushing 1v1, and like exactly this. You know, you lose a member, but you also manage to pick up the kill. Well played by OC, just to completely dismantle APD, and they have, this is now twice on Clubhouse attacks, on a map that is very defender favored, but as I mentioned before, when you have double heartbeat or whatever, but still, very defender favored, they basically just walked through the defense of APD twice. These rounds have gone one way or the, like, these rounds haven't been competitive. These rounds have been, APD is dominant. Oh, I'm sorry, let's start with that. OC was dominant, then APD was dominant, and now OC was dominant. Like, they haven't been competitive whatsoever. They've just been absolute pub stomps for whichever team managed to win. And it's just a matter of, this strategy was a good idea, this wasn't. And let's see which team adjusts first. But luckily that half comes at the 6th round, basically when teams are like, I got nothing left. I don't know how else to, like, our strategies don't work. But
we're out of answers.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thankfully that half comes at just about that time. You can just swipe off the brow and move on with your life as you go to either attack or defense. But it's definitely been interesting, to say the least. I'm curious if we're ever going to see a competitive round this half from either of these teams, like 1v1, 2v1, instead of these 4v1 pub stomps it's been so far. Last time, though, it was a case of, for this site specifically, for CCTV, we saw really good positioning from APD, and that was the story of the round. They just positioned themselves well to win gunfights. This is a very cheeky angle from Sweater. It will not pay dividends. Only a scratch for Merc. Unfortunate for Sweater. He did have excellent position, but we gotta commend Merc on that one to at least spot that out. So at least fire back what little he could. And Merc is just known for kind of closing his eyes and pushing in instead of well, relaxing any which way. When you have a black ice, that makes sense. You know, you got to show off as quickly as possible, right?
Skins equals wins. I mean, that's what everyone knows.
Yeah, and Merc is either playing Twitch if there's a mirror available, or IQ. This is, and then Jaeger all the time on defense with a very predictable play style, but it just works for his team. his playstyle just works for OC, which is just put 2 drones in front of me. I'm shooting my shot here.
I mean, if he wins his ones, that's what matters, right? He took out the top frag. I'm pretty sure that was the first kill of the round last round.
Yeah.
In that gym defense.
Yeah, he's an all or nothing kind of player, and if you're not necessarily used to that play style, it certainly pays its dividends. We saw him be the first death or the first frag. I mean, he's the entry fragger embodiment that you could want. Like it's predictable, but in the way you want it to be. We do see Oasis opening up construction as Art also takes out, Art takes out Detox. So that'll be your bandit off the board as well as a C4, but Sweater will answer with 2 of his own. With excellently placed shots, Bolts will refrag, as well as Mark with the double himself. So they have brought this to a 3v1. And it's just with excellent gunplay so far. With the plant going down from Bolts, it will be pressure on Bolo. Now we'll have a timer to work with. Do you see a grenade? Just put him off for a little bit. An excellent flirk onto Merc. This is just going back and forth with who can frag out more. Will he be able to win the 2v1? He is time constrained at the moment with seemingly around 30 seconds left to play with. He'll have to look both ways. Try to get that frag onto Fultz. Oh! Flick almost pays dividends for him, but Art is just well positioned and will finish off Bolo. That's round 5 to OC, and OC, they have shown up for their first game of CCS.
Now, this map has not been as wide of a scoreline as last. I mean, it might be. We might see them get one more round. It's kind of similar, but so far, at least, these rounds, not individually, but as a whole, as a map, as in its entirety, it's been closer than the first map. It seems that it feels that way, especially as the first map went 7-3. Technically, if it were to go the way of the first map, the side of APD would only get one more round. Hopefully for them, that's not the case. That's not what they want. They want to take this map, at least tie it up, get 1 point in the standings. But right now, so both teams looking strong on different bomb sites. Their strats kind of basic, but at the same time, OC so far, they've been winning more 1v1s. Just everyone running in, and like you said, Merc, that embodiment of that entry fragger, excuse me, he's basically perfect for the job. Either he gets the first kill or he gets the first death. That's all you need him to do. And he does his job more often than not, getting the first kill. That's the idea. Taking out whoever's on the front lines for the side of APD. And that kind of clash of horns at the start is kind of what's been dictating the rounds so far. Maybe not the previous one, but all the other ones. Whoever kind of wins that 1v1 at the start has the advantage going in. And the rest of them need to play positioning so far that hasn't really worked out, other than that one round that they practically kind of almost lost, that 1v4 against Gurmy, just showing some individual prowess. Thank goodness for them, they have that, so they're only down by 1 round so far.
I'm going to say this, too. APD, despite having names, still need to prove themselves in CCS. They managed to beat Regime. It was 7-5, 8-6. They won both of those maps. They eked out those wins against Regime. They got completely dominated by the current Reciprocity roster, formerly Cloud9 at the time. And they won a forfeit match. So you can look at their roster and say, wow, 2-1. That's not so bad. One was a forfeit, and the other, they barely eked out both of those maps. They have a lot to prove, and OC are the newbies, and they're taking it to you at the moment. So if you're looking to have just the respect, which you need at this point, especially for the playstyle you're playing, where it's you have to have them at least concerned a little bit to push into some of their members, because what we've seen so far is they're just, all OC are doing is they're taking the gunfights to APD because they're not afraid. They're actively avoiding Bolo, but they're taking the gunfights to OC, and it's just that's not good. You're losing your gunfights.
That's kind of
they're taking the gunfights to APT. OC is taking the gunfights.
Yeah.
Just like, OC have the confidence that we have not seen in a newer team before in quite some time. Regardless, though, this is the final round of the half. Sweater spots one, but he'll actually choose to rotate on out, and he will take out Merc. So, gunfight did not work out so well for him, which is just the caster's curse, right? You say one thing, the opposite happens. But Sweater is very, very low. That pulse is going to be a thorn in the side of OC, as that's got to be the call. You have to find this pulse now. Oh, no. Because the influence from below is too much. Oasis goes down. Fultz just a little too late on the refrag. Sweater goes up, but the damage already done from Sweater. Sweater doing his best to keep his team within this round. 4v3, possible for either team, but this, at the moment, absolutely favors the offense or defense better.
Sweater's actually taking out the Heart Breacher. I'm not entirely sure if that wall is open. If it is, good for them. They've done their job, but if it isn't, that's going to be a big deal for the side of OC, since they're down to one man, as well as the fact that their positioning isn't exactly the best right now. They have to kind of tighten themselves into a choke point, and thank goodness Art does get a frag on a detox, and another one, in fact. Dot Dash with a response, and Bolo with two of his own. That ended. That just ended quickly. I mean, I didn't even have time to finish my point. But nevertheless, Bolo just gets the spray down. They line up for him.
Oh.
As I said, the choke point that they didn't have the wall open. They have to just go through this one single door. Bolo's ready. He's not going to miss those shots. I mean, we know his name for what he does everywhere on YouTube, on Twitch, and right now on CCS, he just got a clip. It's 3-3, and they have no round advantage, but this is closer than what they ended the first half with in Oregon.
Yeah, and if you, and it's not to call anyone specific, but if you're Yaga, 1-6, and you are your team's second, and you are the secondary fragger, you are 1-6 at the moment. You, as an individual, just need to elevate your game, especially on attack here. It's not been what you would expect from this roster at the moment, and I'm not sure if it's just the way OC attacks, it's throwing Yaga off. But if you are going to, be a Jaeger Zofia main, and this is the results, I mean, that's got to be sweating a little bit, because the rest of your teammates are desperately calling for some help here. And actually, in fact, two members are 1-6, but I believe the other is Detox. That is 1-6, but regardless, we're going to see OC flop to defense. Again, a very defender-sided map. Not so much when you bring two Heart Breachers, but guess what?
They brought three. They almost brought three. They 6-picked off the Thermite just at the last second.
Well, again, two Heart Breachers make Clubhouse very reasonable for attack. And without it, it is just heck on earth. But regardless, we'll have to see how this very deep roam game works out for OC. They have 3 members up above. A little bit of pre-fire just to see if anything connects, but it'll be Fultz, Merc, and Art off site at the moment, and a lot on. I don't believe... Actually, I only believe Gurmy is on site, because I believe that's Oasis inside bar. No, okay, Fultz is... Sorry, Fultz was on site, but still, not a lot there. And this is the advantage of two Heart Breachers. You basically get dirt for free, so you can displace some kind of defender. And if you're going to have anyone take the duels... So right now, he is calling out to his team. There is 1 in Armory. So if someone is droning out Church, that's the info you need, and we'll have to see how APD choose to take advantage here. The last time they were up against a strategy that was seemingly very obvious, they kind of played right into it. So I can't imagine we're going to see a full roam clear for APD, rather just let's try to put some pressure on attack, but you never quite know. But that was a wonderful flick. Absolutely, well, actually that wasn't a flick, that was just a wonderful shot from Bolo. Pretty unfortunate for Merc to be prepping that window a little bit too late. And Detox, one of your Heart Breachers, is taken out in the background by Gurmy. So the pressure from above, the pressure from blue is paying dividends. Oasis will take out Sweater. Oasis with that roam inside a bar. He'll pick up 1 for himself, and this very bizarre roam from OC is definitely paying dividends.
It's interesting that this is actually working, because I guess they're reading into the fact that APD don't really have the most coordinated attacks, and when they see something they're not really used to, they get kind of stuck, and that seems to be what they're doing right now. They're kind of stuck. They don't have a heart breacher, and they lost their roam clear, their primary roam clear at least, Sweater on the Jackal. Sure, they can still kind of make it happen, but Art still on the roam over in pool table right now. He might catch someone off, maybe rotating from the lounge side to main stairs if they decide to go for that type of push, but he's basically cut the team in half. I'm pretty sure Bolo is somewhere either in dirt or maybe in kitchen at the moment. You see the rest of them on anchor positions right now, so this is better for them, just for the, I guess, temporary sake. 30 seconds, and now the pressure's on the attack. The defense has just to hold down, they have to live, and that's what they're gonna barely do. Bolo gets a frag, but Gurmi has Jaga's number as somehow that's not a headshot. Jaga accidentally missing that, but Dot Dash has a response. Still, man count even in between the two teams. 10 seconds though, and Art finally coming back from the roam. The plant is going down. Dot Dash has to fake off of this, and he doesn't. Committing so hard, and Art just gets the frag. That's an easy one for him. Defenders making a basement roam. That was a heavy one at the beginning. One person on site, one person in blue. I guess if you want to extend a bit, you can call that site, but that's barely the case. That was the heavy, the entire team absent from the bomb site. And of course, seasons ago, you would never see that happen. But this time, OC made it work on a basement defense on Clubhouse. That's not something you hear every day.
No, and that's, well, you do hear basement defense being successful on Clubhouse pretty often. Right. You hear a lot of defense being successful. I see what your original point was, though. It was certain, we haven't seen very often 3 people roaming up top. We've seen a lot of 2, but that was definitely a more unique take on the situation, which was basically just a ton of rotations and play aggressive, try to figure out the piece. And I did like the random roam from Oasis on Castle inside of Bar. That was definitely unique as well. But yeah, that was... I'm sorry, they still had 2 roamers. Never mind, Fultz was down below. Forget what I'm saying. But it was... Yeah, that was a unique take on basement defense. Something that we haven't seen a whole ton of. With, again, the Castle choice, the 2 you had roaming up top, the support from below. It all came together fairly well, and you had Gurmi playing pretty aggressively inside of blue. That's how he picked up his opening kill. And yeah, that was all you could say is that was pretty well executed by OC. As they managed to do a late retake because their roamers weren't displaced quite enough. But regardless, though, we will move on to the 8th round with OC up a round currently on APD. Again, OC, newer team to these tournaments, especially with Gurmi in the lineup. They've just qualified for CCS, just qualified for CL. We haven't seen this makeup of OC before, and it's been nothing short of impressive at the moment. This is a pretty compromised position from Art. I'm not certain how that's going to play out, but if droned out, well, he'll probably be in a little bit of trouble. Do see Bolo on Maverick, so that could certainly be a difference, but it does not seem he is droned out for the time being. In the meantime, though, Dot Dash will stay on Repel. Couple angles will be held, as it seems the APD are trying to formulate their plan.
Maverick hole's opened up. Bolo's just rotating off, and now he's finally seemingly going to the garage. Maybe gonna make a couple punch holes in the ear.
Have they droned out Art?
I mean, if they
I'm
haven't,
not certain they've droned out Art.
He's gonna find a nasty surprise on the other side if he hasn't. But I guess there's a Thatcher holding this angle, which that's unfortunate timing. Just peeks off as soon as Art actually exposes himself. But Bolo does have his gun out, so he has to be ready for this. Art drops off, though, keeping himself alive for now with a man advantage. He doesn't want to throw that away just yet. In a minute 31, he's going to hopefully influence around a bit more. He is leashed, so even if he doesn't, he's got those little goo mines he can huck out of his pocket as they regenerate over a period of time. Merc with one onto the top fragger of APD, though. Bolo falls. And a minute 16, a refrag from Yaga onto Oasis. And Merc's still sitting here, holding the garage with all of his life. They've gotten the wall open, though, so his impact is going to be minimal on the garage, and he's going to have to do something about this hole in the wall. Holding that angle with a 1x is not going to be very easy for him.
I really like the rotation from Art too, because you had the man advantage. There's no reason to keep dueling it out and potentially sacrifice your life. We do see Merc get downed by Detox. I'm sorry, not the EMP. The Yokai of False will at least concuss Dot for the time being. Time is ticking down, and their positions are more than well known. Art will take out one from that rotation. Garage. Will he find another? As there's only one member left. The refrag opportunity as both team members are stacked up. Fultz will finish things off. The one thing that was curious to me is the choice to bring Echo. And obviously it's with the people you have playing the operators, but the choice to bring Echo and not Doc and have your Jaeger duke it out on that, obviously it worked. But and Merc's the type of player to play that position. And Merc really never gets off Jaeger. I think for their lineup, Echo would have made a little bit more sense. Obviously, it paid dividends for them, but Bolo's picked IQ almost every attack round except for the couple rounds he's brought Ying. But yeah, that was just a little curious to me for the Echo instead of the Doc to duke it out on that catwalk.
They're going bar.
You know, it's right in OC's blood, right? We saw Watchtower being the second site they wanted on Oregon. Now we see, granted, this is not the first rotation we've seen, but bar is not common. And OC, well, they're not common either. We have seen Alibi picked a good amount of times, both in quals, in so many aspects, specifically to play this third floor of Clubhouse, regardless of what site it's on. We have seen Alibi picked frequently in this position. It's obviously what teams like, because we've seen it from a couple different teams now. It's just interesting to me that we just keep seeing it. And I don't necessarily see the biggest benefits in her for anything, but specifically for this third floor. But hey, if you're comfortable with it, that's the way it's going to be played. And obviously she had the advantage. You can throw her prismas on the windows. They pre-fire windows. You have some info. You can put her prismas in obscure areas, so just get a little bit of info. But I just don't think that info in high-level comp settings is enough to justify the operator. Again, all my opinion. I'm not sure how you feel so much, Golden.
I mean, obviously, she's not the best operator. There are better options. You could bring maybe a Vigil with a debatably better gun, a better secondary, and maybe better utility considering how these guys are playing. They obviously sending in drones first. Dash is following one right now. But choosing the alibis, their idea is that it's making them second guess themselves. The gunner is on, I mean, if I can use that term in a professional setting, the gunners on the side of APD, they're gonna practically shoot at any enemy any enemy they see. An alibi device just laying out in the middle of nowhere. Maybe they have the reactions in their blood just to kind of flick on it. Maybe it takes a millisecond off any reaction time they might have onto an actual player. That's the only logic I can really see behind it. And maybe on bar, they need all the advantage they can get in terms of gunfights. Surprisingly, they have literally 0 ACOGs, which is not common for a bar bomb site, even in the previous iteration of Clubhouse. So how they're gonna make this work is beyond me, but I mean, 1 minute 30, the defuser has been denied. Dash is now off the board. Fultz with a frag, 1 minute 30 into the round, so far, still looking good for the side of OC.
They're playing this very similarly to how they played the basement defense. And Art and Sweater just exchange kills there. That's actually is that a trade? Yeah, that was a trade.
So
yeah, and I'm sure that caught Fultz off guard. Gurmy with a wonderfully placed C4 will take out Detox, and APD just can't figure this defense out very much. With the defenders up top, and you have the roamers inside a bar. Again, this is just a very similar defense to we saw for their basement, except we just kind of took it up a level. This is virtually what they did the last time, and we'll have to see how it plays out at the moment, this is looking very good for OC. We did see one of those toxic babes go down, so now, yo, Yaga, sorry. Excellent lead time rotation. Yeah. But the diffuser is going down, but Yaga with great coverage will take out Oasis. So that diffuser time will tick down. Yaga actually his position. Bolts with the well-placed shot will take out the Jackal. Diffuser is down. And if you're going to have anyone in this 1v1, I'm sure you're feeling pretty good if you're APD. Bolo's been in this situation before, but will he manage to clutch it out this time? Volts does not have the info as to where he is, and all Bolo will be doing is holding this very tight angle. He now hears the castle running around. He'll back off ever so slightly. A well-placed flick. There you go. APD secured the round down to the 3 members. So doing what OC did a lot in the first map. Down an operator, still managed to take the round.
Considering the fact that OC literally almost won that bar defense, I don't know if that says something about the side of APD, or maybe it's OC being oh so good at their gunfights and their teamwork. Gurmy on those main stairs calling out, that plethora of information about how many people were pushing from Strip Club. They were safe from the other side of the map, which is what he was providing to the team. Just that kind of that sense of security you have from your behind. You don't need to worry about anything coming from the side of Garage. But unfortunately for him, getting caught off by a bad timing, going for a drone shot, and then Yaga with the timing of his own, beautiful peek by him, and a frag under the player in main stairs eliminates the player from the round, as well as the information. Then Bolo is just running across, because at that point, the Pulse was the only person on main stairs to watch that cross. Bolo running across the main stairs, getting the plant down, and Yaga with 2 more beautifully placed shots put their team in the man advantage, and all of a sudden, Fultz is left to make a miracle happen, and almost hitting a very good shot into Yaga. With a 1v1 though on a Bolo, that's kind of the worst player, like you said. I mean, anyone else he would have preferred to take a gunfight with. But that man, big brain, I mean, not just his fragging capability, but people really don't give him enough credit for how smart he is when he plays the game. He knows what to do. He's not just a flashy player. Of course, he plays what he needs to get content. But if he wants to win, he can do it, as you see right here. And now, down only a round, they're looking to get this comeback, and this is closer than they were ever have gotten in the first map of Oregon. So props to them. Need to win a couple more to be able to take this map and tie up the series, though.
For that last round, we saw why that strat was effective on basement, but not so much onto bar, just simply because once they establish that bar control, well, that's where you get to plant. You don't then have to push into basement and worry about a whole nother layer. And yeah, we saw the advantage, and it paid dividends for APD as they just held the angles they needed to, because you can only rotate through so much at that point. You can only rotate back to that plant behind bar so much. So it's definitely it was really well executed by APD despite going down a couple of members. Regardless though, we will advance over to the 10th round. Yaga on Blackbeard, the first time we are seeing this operator, and I'm curious to see what he's gonna do. And there you go, that's not a bad first pick. Merc now off the board, a very curious rotation into blue. Basically just, I don't know, give Gurmy a high five. You're doing great, kid. Thank you for the sub. I'm not quite sure what the rotation was for, but let's see, he goes down, and Yaga, well, his threat is now known inside that blue entrance, and I don't think we'll be seeing Gurmy peak anytime soon.
I think after he lost the fight against Elysian, after he thought he got the headshot the first time, last time they both, I mean, it was the same players, both in blue. He said he's done, and he's bringing the Blackbeard, just so he has the face shield this time. So he's likely going to make this work. He's an amazing gunshot in and of himself. He does not, I mean, admittedly, he's been kind of underperforming this game, but he's got the capability at the end of the day if he needs to land those frags. And speaking of frags, Sweater is looking up on one, Art goes down, and this is looking good for APD, 2 man up. And they know that there's at least one player inside of blue, so they can isolate him out. But sadly, Yaga loses it again, somehow. He didn't even get a headshot, but no damage on a Gurmy. That's a bit unfortunate for them. Still up a man, they have to make this count for something at least. Oasis, 1 HP, practically inside a bar. And he's going to look to delay this as long as he possibly can. No thermite for the side of the attack on APD right now. Detox is going to be the one, hopefully, to fulfill that role. In 30 seconds, crunch time for the attackers.
And APD are looking ferocious at the moment. It's certainly at the man and health advantage, but speaking of, the man advantage quickly disappears as Fultz grabs one and gets down to himself. No, with 15 seconds left, with no toxic babes left, Oasis will use his gun and pick up one for himself, Gurmy another. And all of a sudden it's all up to Detox, which is certainly a change of pace, but he has a 1v1. This is a 1v1 with two 20 health operators, and all Oasis is doing is hiding. That was very close for OC. They very much could have lost that round. It was essentially a 1v1 at the end, despite two operators still being quote-unquote up. That was, we're starting to see these competitive rounds now, which is what we were talking about before. The first 4 rounds were just dominant one way or the other. It wasn't so much as to the wire as that round was, and I'm glad we're finally seeing it now. But if you're APD, you're certainly hoping for certain members of your team to elevate their game. You need it at this point because all of OC is contributing, and APD at the moment are a little top heavy. And granted, you know, that's fine if what's on the bottom is who's typically on the bottom, your supports, your smoke capital main. You know what I mean? But at the moment, what's at the bottom for you, or not really where you want him to be, is Yaga. You certainly need that game elevated.
He's the only player on the server right now with double-digit deaths. I hate to point that out, but that kind of means something when you died every single round of the game so far. Of course, kills aren't everything exactly, but say you have a 4v5, it's much easier to win on that 5 side than the 4 side, obviously. I mean, more manpower is always good. That's not really a bad thing. If anything, if one player is about 1 HP, we can at least make him kind of bait, refrag off of him, or something like that. But having more men is always good. So the fragging power on APD right now, surprisingly lackluster, as Fultz actually somehow entries on the holo. That was within 15 seconds. That's not supposed to happen, especially not for the top fragger of your team. And all of a sudden, instantly 4v5. Basically like someone disconnected. Merc with another one on a Yaga. Merc's actually on the bottom of the scoreboard right now for OC. He's still getting frags though. It doesn't really matter. The confidence is still there. And on this match point, series point, they're already 2 men up. Not even 30 seconds into the round. That's huge.
And two probably of the most influential operators you had for this specific point in Blackbeard and Maverick. And now you're just gonna hope Thatcher and Habana can just essentially be all the... Well, I'm good, Sophia, but with Thatcher and Habana being the main driving force of this push, this is a very bad position for APD to be in, obviously. It's just, I don't know, they have to work their way out of a hole, and when you're down like this, basically, you're looking to make as many plays as humanly possible, because you can't just treat it like a, you can't treat it normally. You can't drone out, we're gonna push here, because what the defense is gonna do, what any competent defense always does, is just kind of hang out for a bit and let them come to you. And it's basically everything I just said is pretty much useless to say because it's kind of like a no crap kind of situation, but you have to make plays happen because the defense is just setting up positions to one, pressure you, and two, to take care of the crossfires. And what we're seeing here, we keep seeing Art be super... It was a good pick by Detox, but we keep seeing Art be super aggressive because right now, Thatcher and Habana are being super passive. And when you're down like you are currently, that's the opposite of what your team needs.
I mean, there's not really... That's okay. There's not much options for them. They have to commit to something.
But it still can't be... Like, it can't be holding...
You're right.
This is not how you play a 2v4. Granted, it's very unlikely that you come away with the victory here, but playing this passive is just going to end up biting you in the butt.
No
And
refrag
OC
either.
are certainly a team to play aggressive when they need to. So a 4v1 and 4-0. 2-0 for OC as they really show up for their first CCS game as they take out APD, which I'm sure are fan favorites. I mean, they've been around for so long. Their whole roster has been around for so long. It's not to say OC's isn't, but OC as a team, this is the first time we're seeing this iteration. Like Gurmy replacing Dez, and this is the first time we've seen